Hello, Warhawks. Welcome to Carnegie Math, Chapter 8.2, CPCTC. What this stands for is that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. We abbreviate that. That's quite a bit of words there. So we abbreviate it with CPCTC, three C's separated by a P and a T. Basically, this is just adding to what we've done in the past. We look at these two triangles down here at the bottom. We have triangle ABC and we have triangle DEF. Now, I can tell that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF already. And the reason that is because we have two angles and a congruent side. The side is outside of the angles, so I would say this is by angle, side. Now that's all stuff that we've done before. But what this is doing is taking it a step further. We already know that some parts are congruent. But now because these two triangles are congruent, their corresponding parts are also congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So now I also know that angle C is congruent to angle F, and I know that side AB is congruent to side DE, and I also know that side BC is congruent to side EF. And the reason I know this is because the two triangles are congruent. And you can actually even see it in the congruency statement. C and F are in the same place. They're congruent. AB, DE are in the same place. They're congruent. And BC and EF are in the same place, and they're congruent. So once I've proved that two triangles are the same, now all their corresponding parts are the same. Let me show you a proof of this. So here we have something we've been working with before. We're going to do a proof. We want to start with the given information. That's that BC is congruent to DC. That was given to me. Also given to me was that angle A, hard to write on this, CB is congruent to angle ACD. That was given, but look at what we're trying to prove here. We're no longer trying to prove that the two triangles are the same. We're trying to prove that B and D are the same. But to do that, first we want to prove the two triangles are the same. So I look at this picture, and what else do I know in here is the same? Well, I know that AC is congruent to itself. So AC is congruent to AC because of what we call the reflexive property. So now I actually have enough information to prove that these two triangles are congruent, which is where we used to stop. So I'm going to say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC, and my reasoning for that is by side, angle, side. So there's what we used to do, and that was where we stopped. But notice how what I'm trying to prove is no longer that the triangles are congruent. It's that other parts of the triangles are congruent. They want me to show that B and D are the same. Well, I just proved that these two triangles are exactly the same. So now, because of CPCTC, I also know that angle B would be congruent to angle D because they're in the same place. They're even in the same place in my congruency statement. B and D are both the second terms. These two triangles are the same. Therefore, angle B is congruent to angle D because of CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, and I can abbreviate it that way. Let's look at another example. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and write the given stuff. Okay, so there I went ahead and listed the given stuff. C is the midpoint of AE, that was given. Angle A is congruent to angle E, that is also given. We also know that this angle here and this angle here are going to be congruent. That's called the reflexive property. And I can't say angle C. I'm going to say angle ACB is congruent to angle ECD because they are vertical angles. So they're vertical, they're congruent. And then there's something else I need in this picture. Well, the last thing that I can do, I haven't said it yet, but because C is the midpoint of AE, that means AC and EC are going to be the same. So I'm going to say AC is congruent to EC, and not because it was given to me, but because I knew the definition of one of these words. The word was midpoint. So my reasoning is the definition of a midpoint. That's what a midpoint is. It's in the middle of a line segment. So those two parts are going to be congruent. Now, if you look carefully, I see that I already know that these two triangles are the same. So I'm going to list that. Triangle A, B, C is congruent to triangle, E, and it's important how I list this, D, C, and the reasoning is by angle, side, angle. So ASA, and we've done that before. However, now we're going to add something to it because I wasn't trying to prove that the two triangles were the same. I needed to do that in order to answer the question, but what I need to do is take it one step further and prove that those two things are the same. So I say that now, because the two triangles are the same, all the corresponding parts are the same, BC and DC are in the same place. So I can now say that BC is congruent to DC by, my answer here, CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure you write down those notes and go over the video, and we'll see you in class.